Hey, good morning, Fstgato fam. Just touch base with you guys. You know, a lot of crazy things going on right now with this whole coronavirus stuff and people ransacking stores and acting all crazy, you know, so we're just choosing to stay at home. Kind of let it blow over a little bit. Out here hanging out in the garage. Got the Gato in here. Gonna do a little D.I.Y today. Check out this tire here. I already got it done. What I did is I redid the tire letters. You know, I bought these, I've had these on here for a while, and you know, they get dingy from the roads and kind of get chewed up. You know, Arizona doesn't have the best roads. So spending the day here just kind of pulling the wheels off, cleaning all my calipers, doing all that stuff, keeping everything fresh. Those letters be looking pretty tight now, nice and white again. Got that little red highlighted. What I do is I go down to the local parts store and they sell these little paint pens. They're called tire markers. See if I can get that in there. So they're tire markers, and I just have white and red, and they come in a little package just like this. Get over here where I can see it. And you know, they're pretty inexpensive, you know, because the tire letters aren't horrible to buy, but you know, you might as well get as much life out of them as you can. You know, definitely want to have some old clothes on, because you know, anybody who's got this type of brake stuff, that brake dust is horrendous, and constantly cleaning brake dust, so that's almost a full-time job in itself. But yeah, gonna do a little walk around here, kind of show you the difference between the one that I've got done, and then I actually haven't done this one yet. And they're not horrible, but if you kind of get up here, you can kind of see where they're dingy and they got little marks on them and chips and stuff like that. And I try to keep my calipers clean, but they're hard to get inside these wheels, and I go ahead and clean all the brake dust off the inside of my wheels and clean the backside of my tires and do all that stuff while I have them off, and check all my studs and do all that stuff, because these cars have a lot of torque, and you know, you got to be careful with that. Always check these periodically and make sure that you know, everything's tight. You don't want one of these wheels coming off. Doing the speed limit, of course. So we'll walk around here. Got all my social media decals on. Turned out great. Got my little saying here, you know, you can't enjoy the W's without a few L's. And honestly, anybody who has you know, dealt with anything knows that that's 100 right there. So anyways, we're gonna jump into this. I'm gonna kind of show you guys how you know, the location of the jack-up points on these cars. They have specific spots so you don't mess anything up. And we'll kind of go from there. Pull this next wheel off and kind of do a little how-to here on how I do this. So, see you in a little bit. All right, so with these cars, if you go down here to the bottom of your plastic runner, these actually have a little notch, if you look under here, with a little lip. And I always put a rag on my jack, so that way I don't take a chance on screwing anything up. And I put it under there, and that's a specific lift point on these cars. And I usually just lift these up just enough to get that tire off the ground. And on the front ones, you definitely want to loosen the lugs before you jack it up. Otherwise, the tire's just going to spin. It's a pain in the butt. Back ones, they seem to stay in place, what they did in park. So I get it up tight enough that I can see the wiggle room there. So we got our wiggle room. Make sure that handle stays away from the car. And now we can start loosening these. With these, I have special lugs on all these tires, so you have to have a special socket. So a lot of vehicles are like that, so you definitely want to make sure you got the right tools. I know a lot of people use impacts and stuff like that, but I got a lot of money invested in these wheels, and I do everything by hand with the ratchet. because I don't want to scratch anything and I don't want to tear anything up, and these things should be taken off really easy. So without that, we'll go ahead and pop this one off real quick and get it over on my little chair over there, and we'll start cleaning it up and doing the letters. Good habit to get all your kids into also, because I'm always telling my boys, you know, they drive a lot of different vehicles and we're always out goofing around and doing different things, and this is one of those simple things that tends to get overlooked a lot, is checking your lug nuts and making sure they're tight, because the last thing you want is the tire coming off. So now that we got the tire off, take it over here, put it on the chair. Also, one other thing I like to do while I got these off is, you can see on the inside of this, man, that this is an area where it's really hard to clean, and the brake dust just builds up and it gets wet and gets all nasty. And I've really cleaned all this stuff off, cleaned the inside of my tire, cleaned all the inside of my wheel up while I got this off. And then it's a good opportunity to be able to get all the way around the caliper, because mine are powder coated, and you know, makes it a lot easier to clean. All right, we've got it set up over here now, so we'll bring the tire over here. I put little rags down on these just so when I flip my wheel upside down, I don't take a chance on getting any marks on it. You definitely want to do the back side of this one before you do the other side, so you don't get any of that nasty stuff coming back down on your wheel. So you can use, there's a lot of different kinds of stuff you can use to get brake dust off. You know, you can just get a real mild tire and wheel cleaner. It's kind of what I use for now, just to do the once over. I'm going to be getting some new products here in the next couple of weeks from one of my sponsors, so that'll be coming soon, and we'll have a different line and some pretty cool DIYs and stuff like that coming up, so stay tuned for some of that. This is kind of tedious, you know, these are 3-piece wheels, so these things are bolted together, and a lot of little moving parts in here, and you can see all the nasty stuff that's coming off in here. But when you're at a car meet or car show or just hanging out and people are checking out, you know, these are all the little details that really can make your stuff stand apart. Putting a little bit of elbow grease in here, you know, this costs a little bit of money to buy the cleaning stuff, but most of it's just elbow grease and a little bit of your time, and not really a big deal for me. So kind of cleaning in between all these bolts in here. Show you guys, like, you guys kind of seen it before when I first took it off, and stuff felt like it had like a 1/4 inch of grime built up in here. Definitely buy some microfiber cheap towels. You know, they have them at different places. You don't want to use your good expensive towels for doing this really dirty stuff. Go around this inside lip. These tires got big lips on them, so other thing, when you're looking at your tires, you want to make sure you got the right tires for your car. These are all Z-rated tires. They're rated for different speeds and different vehicles, and you know, sometimes you might be thinking you're getting a good deal on a tire, and sometimes you are, but you always want to make sure the tire's rated for whatever you're driving, because that can be super dangerous if your tire comes apart because it's not rated for whatever speeds you're driving. You can always look it up. That's usually what I do, is I just kind of Google it or look if I don't know something, and you know, we'll kind of pop up here and check the inside of this out. You can kind of see now it's all black, and you can see all these little bolts all the way around the wheel. Those things are kind of a bear to clean in between, but while you got it off, gives you the opportunity to kind of clean the back side of the wheel, check everything out, make sure you don't have any cracks. You can kind of come up here and This is actually where your tire size and all of your information is. Tells you what your ratings and stuff are. All right, we're gonna flip this thing over now and start doing the other side. And I keep my rag separate for doing that brake dust. So. Anytime you plan on putting any kind of product on or doing anything, you know, like with pretty much with anything else, you want to make sure you got a clean surface to start with. Mild tire and wheel cleaner, degreaser, you know, kind of clean everything off, and it'll take kind of all that road junk. And you know, if you do use tire shine or stuff like that, you want to make sure you remove all of that before you spend any money and invest in putting stuff on here, because it won't stay on there if you don't clean the wheels first. Stuff actually works really good. I don't even use tire shine on my wheels. This stuff basically takes it down to the factory rubber and makes it look just natural, and then you're not worried about it slinging stuff everywhere. And they make some different products, and we're going to be going over some of that later at a later date. Certain products, the best ones to use that won't sling that stuff all over your car, the best rags to use, kind of stuff like that. We're going to have a lot of that stuff coming in the future. So we'll probably let that set for a couple minutes, and it'll kind of evaporate. So definitely going to want to have a little piece of cardboard. I kind of set it up over the wheel like this. So got my 2 pins here. All these are tire markers. Like I said, you can find these at a lot of different automotive stores, paint stores. These are specifically made for tires. I already have obviously the tire stickers on here, but like I said, these things over time, the road, stuff like that, they get all dingy, get messed up. You can see I have my little cardboard here, because you have to kind of push on these to get the ink to come out, and then it's basically just like coloring. That's how simple this stuff is. You just kind of do your outside edges, kind of make sure you got ink coming out. You can kind of see where these are all dingy. Sometimes it takes a couple of coats to get this stuff to start coming out of here, because you know, when you do stuff yourself, you're bound to mess something up, and you just learn from it. And it's kind of just the same process with the white. You just kind of push these down. They have little springs in them, kind of shake them up. They got their little paint pens, and then you can kind of see it coming out. And then I always kind of hit a big area first to make sure I don't have a drip, especially if your letters got small pieces on them like mine do. I always just kind of hit that outside edge, kind of highlight the ends, and then fill in the middle. I mean, these are relatively simple to use. They're not rocket science. Like I said, most of this stuff is just a little bit of time, and I like it because it gives you the opportunity anyway to clean a lot of your other parts and calipers and brake dust, and check all of your lug nuts. And it's actually a great process to do this because there's a lot involved. Sometimes, you know, I don't know if the camera's going to show it, but the paint will kind of get thick in some spots on here, and it looks like it's got lines and it's not very even. And then kind of just take a clean rag and make sure it doesn't touch any of your tire. What I do is I just take it and kind of dab the letter a little bit. So I mean, between taking one of these off and cleaning them, redoing the letters, because I have letters on both sides of my wheel. Oh, there's exactly what I was talking about. So you would definitely want to get a rag with some cleaner and have it handy, and it's easier just to start over. So that's what happens when it drips, and you want to have something with some cleaner on it so you can get that stuff up right away, because you don't want that drying like that for sure. Start this one over again since we just wiped it all off. Anyways, like I was saying, by the time you get all your stuff ready to go, make sure you got the right tools, the right socket for your lugs, stuff like that. I'd say you're probably looking at 30 minutes probably to an hour, depending on everything you're cleaning and doing. So You know, it's probably a half a day, I would say, by the time you let these dry a little bit. And then put them back on. All right. So we got that side done now. You can see, big difference there. Tires all cleaned up. Got both sides done. Now we're gonna wipe down this wheel before we stick it back on there. Let's kind of give her, end up cleaning these again later anyway, but it's kind of nice at this angle to come through and hit the wheels real quick. I'm gonna move back over here. I'm gonna get a little bit of cleaner. This is way easier now to do. Why the wheel's out of the way, to get all these little nooks and crannies on your calipers. All right, so now it's been about 3 hours and finally got them all done. So let's check it out. That was the original one. That's the one that we DIY'd. Man, what a big difference. Those letters are popping. And you know I had to clean this thing and wipe it down. Big difference. The letters are popping now. Makes a big difference when those things look like that. I take this thing for a cruise, go have some lunch with Mama today. Haven't really had it out with everything going on and all the events getting canceled. But did want to take a minute while I got all this stuff on here and she's cleaned up that want to shout out my sticker sponsor, Hutch and Hive. Go on her website on Instagram and it's actually under Hutch and Hive, and she actually makes a lot of cool stuff. She makes all of our cups, which I'll show you guys one of those probably on another video. But she makes custom things, portraits, one-of-a-kind cups, memorabilia, kind of things like that, that, you know, kind of set her apart from a lot of other people. But she makes all my decals, all of my lettering, all of my, I've thrown some curveballs at her, so she's pretty good at making stuff. She made all my little emblems up here. She's made all of my side ones. She did all of my social media for my front windshield. So definitely hit her up and you know, let her know that Fstgato sent you. And I'm gonna get out of these old dirty clothes. Got brake dust everywhere. And go get cleaned up and go have some lunch. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just kind of a little DIY. Let me know what you think. If you like the DIYs or these little things, and you know, hopefully it saves you some money. It's really not that hard. Just takes a little bit of time, and you know, makes a huge difference. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Other than that, have a good week. See you on the next one.